This is Akashvani. In the program Money Talk, now we bring you a discussion on government's push to increase usage of electrical vehicles for a green future. The participants are Ronendra Singh, automobile expert, and Arjun Chaudhary, anchor.
I'm joined by Shri Ronendra Singh Sapam of the Business Line, and today we would be discussing about the government notification for a scheme to promote the manufacturing of electric vehicles, passenger cars in India, and this notification has been issued by the Ministry of Heavy Industries. Ronendra Singh, a warm welcome to you on this program.
Thank you, Arjun. Thank you for the invitation.
Well, to briefly summarize the government notification for the promotion of manufacturing EV passenger cars in India is all part of Atmanirbhar Bharat or Make in India, and more importantly, there is a criteria that is being set up for domestic investment and foreign direct investment so that EV vehicles, passenger cars can be produced at scale. There is also the standard operating procedure under the PLI scheme to guide the manufacturing process itself. Ronendra, let's begin by understanding the scope of this policy of the Government of India to promote electric vehicles at this scale.
Arjun, yes, the scheme was launched last year in March 2024 to basically invite or attract investments from global EV players. Specifically, Tesla was one of the names which was doing rounds over this last 1 year that they will be interested in such schemes. So this was to promote, apart from we already have that PLI scheme and, on PLI on battery, ACC batteries, to promote electric vehicles, since the PM's dream is to become net zero by 2070. So we have to, apart from the internal combustion engines, we should also be focusing on the electric vehicles, because India already is the third largest automotive market in the world. So why not we also lead in the electric vehicles? So keeping in mind, this scheme was launched and notified yesterday on Monday, and the portal for applications will be put on the MHI portal in the next few weeks, where the company has to commit an investment of minimum rupees 4,150 crore or $500 million for manufacturing electric four-wheelers in the country.
Ronendra, tell us something about the nature of investment by manufacturers, both in terms of the domestic market. You spoke about India being the third largest market for autos. There is also foreign direct investment who are looking to sell in the domestic market and as an export platform, FDI, so they can manufacture and resell it overseas as well, which has been the strategy of many companies. Do you see them being replicated as part of the applications that is being sought?
This was basically to promote electric vehicles in India, and apart from few global players in the mass market like Kia or Hyundai or Maruti Suzuki, which will be also launching the e-Vitara, their first electric vehicle in the next few months. So apart from that, they wanted the global technologies also to come into Indian roads. For example, Mercedes-Benz, who have also shown interest in participating in this scheme. And apart from that, we have Chinese players like BYD and Tesla, the global player that we wanted to bring them here. So for that only this scheme was launched, and apart from that 4,150 crore investment commitment, the government is also giving them rebate on the customs duty, so to say. Like if they commit for that investment in India over the next 3 years, they will be availing the reduced customs duty of 15% instead of 70% on electric cars, which are valued around $35,000. Which will be brought as completely built units. But that will be limited to only 8,000 units a year. So that, because we are promoting Make in India program here, where companies should come and bring their technology here and bring their base here and they can manufacture here. Like Suzuki has done in the 80s, and now Hyundai for almost 30 years now they have been doing. And also in the luxury car, if you have to name, we can name like Mercedes-Benz, which has also been doing for almost 2 decades now, and for BMWs or Audis of the world. Like that, we want electric vehicle manufacturers also to come in India and, expand their networks out of India, and they can export maybe in the Asian markets or in the neighborhood from here after setting up as a hub.
Let's go back to the revenue notification last year itself, 15th of March 2024, along with the notification by the Ministry of Heavy Industries, so that there are calibrated customs duty concessions. So this has been in the pipeline for more than a year now.
Right.
but the funding, because you also require a great deal of capital investment, banking to support auto manufacturers. How do you see that playing out under this scheme of the Ministry of Heavy Industries, which is acronymed as SPM PCI?
India doesn't want any Tom, Dick and Harry to come and, it's just gives the commitment and never meeting the, target. So the government wants to make 100% sure that if these companies are committing, then they invest. And it's not about only investment. It's about, getting the global technology here in India and also the employability part of it. Because once you set up a plant here, then their suppliers will also come. Then they will also set up the different part, just like the Maruti story that we've been doing for the last 40 years, that in the 80s when Suzuki came, the partners from the component players also came from, Japan, and they set up their facilities here in the vicinity of, Gurgaon Manesar belt. Now it has become so big that in Haryana, they have another plant, Kharkhoda plant, which has been also started from February. So like that, we progress in this electric vehicle journey also, so that not only an investment commitment, but also employability, employee generation part of it that we have to keep in mind. And it's about also, getting the skill set that the global players have in India. For example, when Toyota came in India, there's a Tata Quality Management, TQM, which is very famous in the Japanese term. So like that, there are so many things that Indians can learn, and we can upskill our skill development here in India.
So apart from the typical resources required, land, skilled labor, compliances which are easy to clear, testing ground for vehicles themselves is a market required as well. Any factory that's set up under the PLI scheme, or rather the standard operating procedure set under the PLI scheme, which are the states that are likely to compete for companies who apply for this particular scheme of the Government of India for the manufacture of EV passenger cars? You spoke about Haryana. Tamil Nadu is another state where there is skilled labor and a lot of help given to any kind of foreign direct investment. How is this kind of allocation going to be state-wise?
I think all state governments are welcoming, such players into India. When, if you remember when Tesla's name came out, I mean, every state CM had invited the CEO Elon Musk whenever you are welcome to, manufacture your cars in India, in our state. For example, Rajasthan, Gujarat, everyone are welcoming the companies when it comes to manufacturing in India. Because for the state also, it is about, as I said, it is about employability. Like once a factory is set up, like we have in Gurgaon Manesar, there is Tamil Nadu. In Tamil Nadu also, the Hosur, Chennai belt also is full of, such manufacturing facilities. So likewise, every other state also want to set up such belts so that in future there are more employability and better life for such skilled laborers.
So you spoke about CBU units, completely built units, E4W, and this is from the Global Supply Group companies. Tell us about the supply chain, which is essential for the assembly and manufacture of EV vehicles in India under this particular scheme, not to mention battery technology, rare earths being imported as well for the manufacture of batteries as well. So what is this crucial import that we're talking about?
As you said, the crucial import apart from the battery, because we still don't have cell which is available in India. It's been imported from other parts of the world, especially China. And we just do the assembling of the belt and battery pack here by importing those cells. Apart from that, right now you must have heard about the rare earth magnets also, which has been also, we are going through a crucial time where we are not getting the required rare earth magnets from China. That's why some of the delegations from India, along with the automotive industry and from Ministry of Commerce and MEA, are going over the next few weeks to resolve this issue. They're going to talk to the Chinese government and also the suppliers there to get the supply coming into India. So, because it's a very small amount of the magnet which are going to each car, but the problem is that if they don't give that part, I mean, the car is not complete. They can't roll out of the factory. So likewise, apart from that, there are other many, critical components, especially in the EVs, apart from, because we are always ready to make the body shells or the aluminiums or other parts, motors. But when it comes to such kind of magnets or the cells or, for example, the chipsets, which are very much part of the EVs, those are some crucial parts whose supplies should be continuous. I mean, there shouldn't be any cup when it comes to those parts.
So sensor technology, factory units are being built for that purpose itself, so that the supply chain is not disrupted. Clearly, the nanometer of the sensor chip is extremely important. The less this nanometer, the more advanced the chip is. And clearly that's a challenge as well for our engineers. But it's all about supply chain building here. Ronendra, tell us about the domestic value additions. We keep hearing this in the applications and the policy of the Ministry of Heavy Industries when it comes to EV passenger car manufacturing.
Right. So under this, scheme to promote manufacturing of electric passenger cars in India, the government has also have kept a clause in it where these companies, whosoever are committing the investment in India, they have to localize, or they should achieve minimum domestic value addition DV of 25% within the same period in the first 3 years. So that, as I said earlier, so that, it should be coming from within the country. They shouldn't be importing from outside India. So for that matter, they can, bring their supply partners here in India, and they can set up here, they can bring the raw materials and make the components here, but the supply should be from within India, minimum 25%. And after that, in the next 5 years of it, the value addition should be 50%. So the government is keeping in mind that the technology is also made in India, here in India. For example, in internal combustion engine vehicles, most of the companies are making 90% of the car is been localized in India. So like that for EVs also, they want the same way, at least bringing up to, in the first 5 years, it could be 50%, 25% in the first 3 years, then 50% in the 3 years, and maybe beyond that, becoming around 80 or 90%. That will be good.
Now let's look at the consumer finally. Ronendra, what is the price point that we're looking for EV vehicles that are going to be rolled out under this scheme for the consumer? Apart from the design requirements, it's a 4-door passenger car, but the price point, I'm sure, is crucially important. You mentioned about Maruti Suzuki, that joint venture that did so well in India. It was a passenger car as well. How do you see the price point playing into the minds of the consumer in India?
Right now, through this scheme, what we are expecting is minimum threshold of 30 to 35 lakh cars, because we are talking about high-end electric cars here. We are not talking about the mass markets, because when the minister SD Kumaraswamy yesterday also said companies like Mercedes-Benz, Kia, Hyundai or Skoda, Volkswagen are showing interest, that means they're going to bring their high-end technologies here in India. There are a lot of cars which are running in the US or Korea by, made by Hyundai or Kia, that we can't afford in India. So that's why they want to get such technologies in India where the maybe upper end of the customers can buy those cars and see the technology, because we keep meeting so many, CEOs or MDs of the companies. When they go to the US or, for example, here in Dubai, they would like to drive Tesla. Because Tesla is it's a marquee brand kind of a thing. So that's why such customers are there in India who can afford those values also and those price point also. So this kind of cars will be at least 30 to 35 lakhs minimum.
Well, thank you so much, Ronendra, for talking to us at length about this policy of the Government of India, and also bearing in mind that the manufacturer seeking to apply under this scheme of the Ministry of Heavy Industries would be looking at their profitability, they would be looking at their margin, and also, more importantly, the scale at which they can produce and sell it in the domestic market of India. Thank you so much, Ronendra Singh Sapam, for being with us on Akashvani and giving us in detail the Ministry of Heavy Industries government notification for the scheme to promote manufacturing of EV passenger cars in India.
Thank you so much.
You are listening to a discussion on government's push to increase usage of electric vehicles for a green future. The participants were Ronendra Singh, automobile expert, and Arjun Chaudhary, anchor. This program was produced and presented by the News Services Division of Akashvani. You can listen to it on our mobile app, News on AIR. This program is also available on our YouTube channel, News on AIR Official. You may share your feedback about this program through email at airnsttalks@gmail.com or WhatsApp on